Well, hello there, everyone. It's great to be with you on the Inspirations for Your Life show. I'm John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. And again, it is so great to be with everyone. I hope you're all having a wonderful day or a wonderful week, whichever that be. Again, it is great to be with you. This is Thursday. It's the last day of the month, guys. It's April 30th. It is 2026. And again, it's great to be with you here. This is the Inspirations for Your Life show. If this is your very first time with me, I want to say thank you and I want to say welcome. If you've been here one time or many times in the past, well, then I want to say thank you so much. And of course, I want to say welcome back. All right, everyone. If you're thirsty or hungry or parched, whatever, go ahead and get something and come on back to the show. And let's kick this off. All right, everyone. So, the master topic for the week, which we have just one more day after today on, which is when direction changes because truth gets revealed. Okay. I think a lot of people go home or give up early when that starts to happen. All right. A lot of people do go home and give up early because of that, but they shouldn't. All right. So, welcome back, everyone, to Inspirations for Your. If you're wondering where you are, yes, this is the daily motivational podcast show that helps you become a better version of yourself. Who am I? Oh, sure. I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, engineer, marketing specialist, video producer. That's right, guys. Podcast host, coach, graduate student, lifelong learner, and yes, now so grateful to be a published author. This week, we were talking all about something that changes everything. Direction does not change randomly, guys. Direction changes when the truth shows up and what you believed no longer works. So most people think they are stuck, but in reality, they are just resisting what is trying to reveal itself to them. All right, guys. So when resistance turns into revelation, things happen. So resistance signals growth and shows where expansioning is starting to happen and take place. And I think that's a very very important thing for us to to understand that whole concept. All right. Number two, guys, discomfort creates awareness and forces you to see what you ignored. Okay, what you ignored. That's important. Number three, guys, conflict reveals truth that comfort keeps hidden. Yeah, that's a really good one. Conflict reveals truth that comfort keeps hidden. Number four, guys, pressure creates awareness that cannot be avoided. So I think sometimes people get stuck in the frame of, what this is about. But I want to tell you this is really, really important because if you can understand this, then you can pretty much understand anything. But I know it can be challenging for some people. Believe me, I do to know that. All right. Again, number five, struggle leads to insight through real experience. Now, I know you might be saying, John, how can a struggle ever help me? Well, it can help you because it can help you to see a different pathway, a different way you should be going. And I think that's a real special thing. So yeah, definitely think about that in your moves as you go through life. All right. Struggle leads to insight through the real experience that lies ahead. Number six, guys, opposition strengthens understanding over time. Doesn't happen overnight, it happens over time. Number seven, breakdown leads to breakthrough. When patterns shift, the patterns have to shift. That is the key. Number eight, guys, confusion forces reflection and deeper thinking. Now, you might be saying, John, what is this all about? How does this work? I think the best way to really help you to understand that is to know that we all get confused. We all are wondering, like, which way should we go? And we're in this little bit of an enigma, of a maze, like, do I go left? Do I go right? Am I circling? And it causes us to go into this state of reflection and to think deeper about it. Number nine, guys, challenge exposes weakness that needs correction. So a challenge is there to help us. It's not there to harm us. It's not there to hurt us. It is there to help us. I think that's a very important thing, definitely to realize with everything out there and everything going on today is that challenge is there to help us. Okay. Challenge is there to help us. And if challenge is there to help us, then maybe we can understand the main thing. And the main thing is this, guys. The main thing is that life is meant to be learned. Life is not meant to cause confusion, but it does when we're learning, right? And I think sometimes people just, they get frustrated with life. They don't want to do anymore because, they've had situations that have been, well, bad cards. Okay. And I think bad cards give people that problem. And by the way, I want to let you guys know we have just announced our first book signing for the book, which in case you guys didn't know about it, it's called Drained to Driven. And if you would like to attend the author talk as well as get a signed copy by me, we will have that available. Our first one will be on May 26th. It will be at the Franklin Lakes Public Library in Franklin Lakes, New Jersey, from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. There'll be a brief author talk, which will be roughly around 20 or 30 minutes. There'll be a Q&A, and then there'll be a few minutes to just lounge, linger, and network, and also to ask me any questions that you have afterwards. So definitely hope you'll check that out. Don't forget to check out believemeachieve.com and also our newest resource up there is a website, which is, yes, that resource is believemeachieve.com. So again, it is so great to be with everyone here today. Number 10, guys, tension drives change. Okay. It drives change by removing the comfort. Now, I've said to you guys, when comfort is there, we don't move ahead. It's when there's friction that we become that better version. And the best way to explain this is, did you know, ladies and gentlemen, that we need friction to walk? We need friction to walk. And because the friction helps us accelerate when we start our walking, right? Or we stop walking, or we change speeds while walking. And this is because you need a horizontal force to change your horizontal speed. And this force is friction. And it arises due to interactions between your feet and the ground you walk on. Therefore, by Newton's third law, the ground is pushed on by the friction in the opposite direction of your horizontal acceleration. So, yes, we can be very grateful for that. But when we have friction, we get a little bit of control. But sometimes when there's too much friction, right? Like if you got a gear and there's too much friction, the gear's not going to move, right? It has to be rigid enough to go around, but it has to be not tight enough that it's not going to be able to move, right? We can't have that. So number 11, friction reveals direction through resistance. Of course, guys, more book signings and author talks are coming. This is just the very first one that we have had. So again, it is, the very first time that we are talking about this. And we're going to list all these events on jcmacademy.com. And so that's an important thing to understand, is that you can always learn about these through jcmacademy.com. And I think that's going to be really cool for everyone to get to meet everyone. I just got this brand new pen from a friend of mine, which I'm playing around with, and really loving the book. I am working on my next book, which is not a motivational book. It's actually a technology book. Really happy with the book, and I look forward to signing it for you. So if you get the book that night, you can get them. There'll be copies available, or you can get it online by following the link, and they'll usually be shipped to you in less than, I think, 3 to 4 days. Number 12, obstacles refine thinking and sharpen decisions. Okay. And I think that's important. Number 13, resistance reshapes identity. Resistance reshapes identity. And so that's important, guys. through the adaptation that we have. So we learned that friction helps us control because if we don't have friction, we can't move, we can't stop. And too much friction would mean we can't move at all, right? Pain or discomfort creates an awareness. That awareness pushes us to demand attention. When I broke my tib and fib, it wasn't painful. I was so grateful that Lord and God had blocked out this pain. And it was just a discomfort, not a pain, but just an uneasiness in the fact that I couldn't walk. But all the pain had been blocked out of where I broke. So that was kind of like a miracle in itself. So I was very grateful for that. Number 15, guys, truth emerges under stress when pressure builds. So truth will emerge under stress when pressure builds. And I think that's an important piece for us to understand and know, right? That's important. And I think understand that we can of where we are and maybe where we're going, right? Maybe that's a good idea. Number 16, growth requires struggle to create strength. So when we struggle, when we are pushing to get better muscles or to gain greater skill and dexterity, we are in a part of discomfort, but we are building something. So next, easier. That's why we have to keep the workouts slightly harder. All right, guys. Number 17, difficulty develops clarity through persistence. Persistence is a real key. Okay. And so that's a very important thing. Most people give up on persistence. You know why? Because everyone else is giving up under persistence. I said the people that are successful, the only difference between the successful people and non-successful people is the successful people have just learned to hang on a few seconds longer. That's it, guys. That's the only difference. Number 18. Resistance is information, it's not failure. All of this is data, guys, and the data can help us become a of ourselves. And I think that's a wild thing because if we know that we can become better and it might take some resistance, then that can change our life. Okay. That can change our life. And it's important to know that. It's important to know what it means and what can happen. Um, I know that it's pretty interesting. And by being pretty interesting, I mean that this is something that you can actually um, change. You can actually impact in your life. But other people around you might cause you to say, oh, what, I can't do that. Don't let the other people around you discourage you. Number 19, awareness follows conflict when truth is revealed. When the truth is revealed. Okay. Not all the time. It's when the truth is revealed. And I think that's an important thing that most people don't understand that. They don't understand what that means. Okay. And so when people know this, they sometimes, well, they tend to go a little easier on themselves. And the thing is, when you start new, it's like you're afraid to make a mistake, right? And then once you're going and you're not getting where you want to be, you're like, I don't know if I should keep doing this. Should I change my direction? Well, if you're not getting where you want to be, And it's been a little while. Yeah, of course. But change is sometimes harder than starting or stopping. Everybody can stop, but change is about readapting to the environment, acclimating. That's not easy to do. Number 20, guys. Insight follows pressure through experience. Through experience, I said. That's important, guys. Through experience. And you might be saying, John, I don't know why, but it's totally the truth. It's totally the truth. And I know what a lot of you are saying. Pressure is something you don't want. But you see, a good amount of pressure is good. Like in a pressure cooker, we just have to monitor our pressure. We can't have a pressure getting out of control. Number 21, change follows discomfort when action is taken. Change follows discomfort when an action is taken, right? If you're doing something and it's not comfortable, and now you make a change, right? Because of that action, or you take an action because of the change you want to make, things get better. And I think that's hard for a lot of people to understand. Number 22, clarity follows confusion through reflection. I think it's important to realize that reflection comes when things aren't working. But you need to reflect, even when things are working, you want to look at how well things are going and if you should make a change because you could always do something better. People always reflect or people only pray when they have a problem. But why don't they do this like normally, like every day? They just do it when they have an issue. Number 23, strength follows resistance through endurance. Yeah. Number 24, wisdom follows experience over time. Wisdom will follow experience over time. And I think when we can know that and know that it's not happening all overnight, I think a lot can change for us. Okay. Um, a lot can change for us. And I can tell you that's something that a lot of people like don't understand. All right. A lot of people just don't understand that whole concept. They don't know what it means. And that might cause you to be a bit confused. But when we reflect on things, life becomes easier. Life gets better for us. Okay. It gets better because we now understand what's going on. We now understand why things are changing in our lives, but they don't happen overnight. Okay. I think that's important. Number 25, growth follows pressure when embraced. When it's embraced, it works. And pressure being embraced is really another way of saying it is being monitored. That's another way of saying, that same thing. Number 26, direction follows struggle with persistence. Direction follows the struggle with persistence. So when we direct, out of a struggle, which only happens when we get persistence. If we don't get that, then our life doesn't change. It just sort of stays stagnant or it goes backwards. Number 27, transformation follows breakdown in rebuilding. A lot of people don't want to rebuild because they need to break down, because they need to break down, because they need to break down. Does that make sense? And I know some of you are saying to me, John, I don't mind that. Well, if you have to start over and you have to unlearn what you know or restart, that could be a very, very big problem for you. So a lot of people fear the art of breaking down. Number 28, awareness follows tension in key moments. Now, it's only in the key moments. Why don't we have awareness outside? I think it's because that tension just causes us something to do. Does that make sense? I think that's an important thing to know. Number 29, understanding follows conflict through processing. Through processing. And I think when we process something, we can't always get the answers we want immediately. We have to think about that, right? We have to think about that. And I think that's important to know, right? Very important to know. Very important. Processing happens when we start to understand something. Okay. But we don't get all the efforts of our thinking or our processing overnight. We just don't. Number 30, revelation follows resistance when truth is accepted. When it's accepted. When it's accepted. Does that make sense? And I think when we can realize that moment, that epiphany of life, things can change. Does that make sense to you? And I think when we can realize that where we stand is important. We may want all the answers tomorrow. We're just not going to get them tomorrow. And the sooner we know that, the sooner things will be a lot better. All right. When we take time, right? We save 9, which was to save mistakes, but we become more aware the slower we do things, whether it's eating, drinking, whether it's walking, hiking, whatever it is, we can become more aware. And I think that's something a lot of people have in their life, but they get scared of being aware. They get scared of being aware. And the reason they get scared is that they learn a side or they learn something about themselves that they didn't know, and then they get a little bit worried about what that means to them. What that means to them is a very, very big problem. It's not a problem, it's just that they don't have a certainty about where they're going in life. And I think that's probably our biggest problem is they don't have the certainty. And when they don't have a certainty, then things sort of change, right? They sort of change. And again, they don't change overnight, guys. They change in the time that it takes, which could be a while, which could be a while. And I know what you're probably saying, right? You're saying, no, that's not right. I think most people understand one thing. They understand that they're stuck, but a lot of times they don't want to admit that they are stuck, right? They don't want to admit they're stuck. And while this is like that, people are like, I don't know what I should be doing, right? I don't understand. I think that can be, they just get lost. And I think it's important to know, okay? I think when we take time, our life switches into a different perspective, a different moment, one that we didn't think was going to exist. And so, what are you resisting right now? Is my question. Is it something to avoid or something you're trying to guide toward? See, most people stay stuck not because they lack ability, but because they ignore what resistance is trying to teach them. Direction changes when truth is accepted. And it's important to know that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. Be sure to check out BelieveMeAchieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. And remember, everyone, when truth shows up, that is your moment to change the direction. So don't wait. Start now.